It Chapter 2 is among the successful batch of sequels that was released in 2019. As much as the movie performed well in the box office, it has got pretty stark and polarized reviews. Adapted from Stephen King's 1986 novel, the film, in the most subtle ways, conveys the importance of courage, resistance, and overcoming fears. Quote, "If Chapter 1 was about the weak finding strength together, Chapter 2 is about the responsibility the privilege owed to the unprotected." End quote. That's how Vanity Fair described the movie series. Whether you got the message or not, here are 15 mistakes that we at Movie House were able to get. Spoilers alert, folks. Number 1. Involved in an intense discussion, Bill and Audra walk towards the craft services table on the set. However, Audra is abruptly shown holding a half-eaten celery stick. She evidently didn't have the time to bite into it. There wasn't any crunching sounds as well. Number 2. Here's another typical continuity error that we often find. When Bill's left hand goes in and out of his pockets between shots. Number 3. And there's yet another commonly found continuity error that has to do with the hair. This scene is where Beverly tells Ben how handy he is. We can see that the bang of her hair is on her forehead, but in the intermediate next wide-angle shot, the forehead is clean. Number 4. In this scene, notice the chain bolt on the door is latched, and it later gets unlatched without Beverly even touching it. Number 5. Movies with flashbacks and flash forwards often tend to have mistakes that relate to having stuff that are out of time or place. Take, for example, during this flashback to the summer of 1989, an arcade cabinet of Mortal Kombat is clearly seen at the movie theater. The fact is that the game was not released until October of 1992. A cabinet of Mortal Kombat 2 is also visible in the arcade, when the game actually came out in 1993. Number 6. Again, there is another arcade game error. We see Richie playing the original Street Fighter arcade game against another boy. The on-screen image, however, is from the game's single-player mode. Number 7. At this scene, we get to see the real Stephen King himself as the seller whom Billy decides to buy back his old bike. The conversation lasts for quite some time, and all the while we can see the book on the counter has been rotated several times between the cuts. Is Pennywise playing around? Number 8. In a funny occurrence, the knife sticking out of Henry Bauer's chest changes position. Watch. It appears the crew has been pretty careless. Number 9. This mistake is worse than the previous one. The bandage on Eddie's face switches places. What were the assistant directors doing? Can you believe it? The wound just switched sides. Number 10. Similar, but lesser grave than the previous mistake. Beverly's flashlight and rod switches hands. Number 11. Another grave error is where despite Ben and Beverly's token being made of paper, and despite the characters getting submerged in sewer water, the tokens are shown to be completely dry. Number 12. Alright, a bit of a recollection is required to spot this error. When the older losers look into the window and see their younger selves, the scene flashes back to the younger losers, or should we say winners, after defeating it. If you recall, while Eddie is still covered in vomit, Stanley, who got bitten in the face by Judith, does not have any wound on his face. Number 13. Again on the same flashback. If you recollect, in Chapter 1, Beverly is kidnapped by Pennywise, which prompts the boys to go to Neibolt to save her. However, the flashback points to the aftermath of the rescues, and Beverly is on her bike. She wouldn't have had a bike if she'd been kidnapped by Pennywise. Number 14. Continuity errors in It Chapter 2 are not minor. At the end of the movie, when Bill and Mike are talking on the phone, Bill takes off his reading glasses twice. Watch. What were the editors up to? Number 15. This mistake, unlike the previous ones, can be tolerated. After the climax, after the camera pans over the town, one can see the sign Royal LePage on one of the buildings. For your information, Royal LePage is a Canadian real estate owner and operator that does not exist in the US. And that's all, folks. Continuity errors are one of the worst kinds of mistakes that can happen in any film. And it stands to be the most intolerable ones as well. Unfortunately, It Chapter 2 had many such mistakes that could have easily been avoided with a more careful approach to filmmaking. We are glad that these mistakes didn't undermine the success of the film, although we are sure that even regular audiences may have noticed such obvious mistakes. Let us know in the comments if we've missed out on any other mistakes. Let us know your opinion. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie mistakes and trivia.